Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to KEPR Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 20 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to weather because Jefferson, a bit of a wet start to our Wednesday, but we are going to see some of those clouds go by the wayside and maybe a bit more sunshine.
That's right. Despite rain showers in the forecast area to begin this hump day, we are going to be looking at skies turning sunny this afternoon. It's going to be a very pleasant October day coming our way, all things considered, with sunny skies and also some pretty pleasant temperatures. Now, as we do go into Thursday and Friday, we are going to be looking at mostly cloudy skies coming back to our forecast area, so get outside and enjoy the sunshine today if you can. And then shower chances are going to return soon, namely as we do go into the weekend. We'll talk more about all three of these weather headlines and what temperatures are looking like as well. That is straight ahead.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Kennewick. Police arrested a man who they say was unseemly communicating with minors and even had sexual photos. Police first began investigating last year after discovering records of inappropriate online messages and illicit images, which detectives say had been going on for several years. After collecting enough evidence and a warrant, police found the 49-year-old Kennewick man at his home on Friday and were able to arrest him and book him into the Benton County Jail. He is facing charges of second-degree possession of depictions of a minor engaged in sexually explicit conduct and communication with a minor for immoral purposes. And a man has been sentenced for a 2024 murder that happened in the parking lot of a pizza shop in Yakima. On June 24th last year, police responded to a shots fired call along Nob Hill Boulevard. They found the victim, who was transported to a hospital in Seattle before dying. They also found a car crashed into a tree with 6 people, including Angel Cristo Ayala, who was sentenced. Ayala submitted an Alford plea to second-degree murder, which means that he maintains his innocence while conceding that prosecutors could have convinced a jury to find him guilty. He has been sentenced to 15 years in jail. And a man has pleaded not guilty in a shooting that left 1 injured. The man pled not guilty to a single count of third-degree assault in connection to a shooting incident on October 10th. YPD officers were called to the 800 block of North 6th Avenue for reports of an accidental shooting. When officers arrived, they found a man sitting in the driver's seat of a car with a gunshot wound and 3 others around the vehicle. Officers found a Glock 19 pistol in the back seat of that car, and the man said he was the one who shot the gun and that he was taking it apart when it discharged. The victim was taken to Multicare Memorial Hospital and was then transferred to Harborview Medical Center. Tribal police in Oregon are continuing to search for a 71-year-old man missing for just over 3 weeks now. Wearing a black and red jacket, black shirt, and sweatpants, along with boots, Wesley Dixon Jones was last seen October 5th near East Short Mile Road. The FBI, Umatilla County Search and Rescue, and outside groups have been aiding in the effort to locate Jones. Investigators say footage has allowed them to narrow down a timeline of when Dixon went missing, adding they've been searching on all 3 fronts, air, ground, and along the river. A group not affiliated with either the tribal police or the sheriff's office have also joined the search using sonar.
Because of the swiftness of the water, it would be dangerous to try to jump in there and look without proper safety equipment or training and so forth. And so the sonar device is able to give us a glimpse of any findings underwater.
Now, this investigation is still developing and can turn criminal as detectives put the puzzle together. The Umatilla Tribal Police Department is asking residents with road-facing cameras between Short Mile Road and Bingham Road to check their footage for any sign of Jones or his gray 2003 Ford Escape with Oregon plate number of SM15454. If you have any information, give the Tribal Police Department a call at the number on your screen. In some municipal news, last night, Sunnyside City Council met and discussed several topics on their agenda. The meeting began by officially proclaiming October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It was then followed by an approval of the 2026 ad valorem property tax levy. The Sunset Ridge annexation's final action was approved into the Sunnyside city limits. And lastly, there were a new fee schedule for the fiscal year 2026. The fees include police security, business, and fines for nuisances. The next Sunnyside City Council regular meeting is on November 10th, and a study session is on November 3rd. The city of Walla Walla is close to finishing construction for the Myra Road South Extension project. The project has been going on for several months now and will extend Myra Road from South State Route 125 to Tau-Marson Road by using 4 roundabouts, which will open up the area to over 50 acres of unused land. Now, the city says more than 100 new housing units as well as many stores will be coming to that area. Workers finished construction on Tal-Marson Road Monday and will now move on to Highland Road with a hopeful deadline of finishing the project by the end of November. After several months of anticipation, the City of Richland's new customer service utility billing portal is now live. The portal features an easy-to-use online payment method as well as several online tools to manage utilities. If you have any questions on how to use the new portal, there's also a kiosk available at the Richland City Hall with additional services at the library and community center.
So if you want to remain as a paper bill, you can still opt to stay on that and still be able to view your utility billing statement online. If you're like me, I don't want any more paper than I need. I opt out, but you can opt back in. I mean, you have that flexibility.
Now, for already existing customers using eCare, you can check your email for instructions on how to migrate your account. For new customers, you can visit the City of Richland's website to learn how to set up a new account. The Bateman Island Causeway will soon be removed, ending over 80 years of pedestrian access to the island by reopening the natural flow of the Yakima River. In an effort to restore the island to its natural state, Tapteel Greenway, a local nonprofit seeking to preserve and maintain the lower Yakima River, has organized a cleanup project of Bateman Island.
Basically, just come prepared for whatever the weather has to offer. And we're going to take care of that. We've got trash bags, we got vehicles moving the trash. It's already organized. Won't be a big physical effort, but I think it'll be a nice community way to send her off in good shape.
Now, the cleanup will be taking place this Saturday and is open to anyone over the age of 6. If you're interested in helping out, details can be found up on our website, KEPRtv.com. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan to talk the weather. On Saturday, we're expecting quite a bit of rain, or at least some level of rain that could put a damper on any activities outdoors. But in the meantime, we have one stretch of the band, it looks like, that passed through, and then it's clear skies for a bit?
Yeah, that's right. We are going to be looking at more numerous showers on Saturday, which of course I'll talk about later on in this weather segment. But before we get to that, let's talk about the time being. As of the time of this recording at around 7 a.m. on Wednesday, we are still tracking some showers working into our forecast area. You can see this main band of showers is now starting to push off to the east of our region, but Walla Walla and Pendleton are still getting pretty wet with some lingering showers still around in the Tri-Cities too. By the time this precipitation does move off to the east to Dave's Point, we are going to be looking at a pretty nice October day with sunshine and fairly mild temperatures. Here's a look at those temperatures that I just referenced for this afternoon. Highs will reach the low to mid 60s in the Tri-Cities today, upper 50s to low 60s in the Yakima Valley, low to mid 50s coming for the Kittitas Valley today, with upper 50s close to low 60s for the Blue Mountain foothills, as everybody today will eventually see sunshine overhead. Now, over the next 2 days after today, so Thursday and Friday, we are going to be getting back to mostly cloudy skies, staying primarily dry on these days, but you can see with the clouds, we are going to see cool temperatures, much cooler than we see today. On Thursday, highs will likely reach the low to mid 50s, and then on Friday, only seeing highs primarily into the upper 40s to low 50s, although we might be a smidge warmer for the Blue Mountain foothills. Now let's jump into the Storm Tracker Futurecast. I've mentioned it a couple of times. By this afternoon, we are going to be dry around the forecast area with folks getting back to sunny skies. Thursday is going to be a dry day with mostly cloudy skies. On Friday, if you joined us a couple of days ago, there was pretty high confidence that we could be looking at spotty showers, at the very least spotty showers for trick-or-treat time on Friday evening. Models have really backed off on the precipitation for Friday. I now believe many of us will escape with a dry day on Friday, which is great news for Halloween activities. But by the time we get to Saturday, we are going to be looking at numerous showers around the forecast area, and some of these showers could even linger on Sunday, especially for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills. Now let's just talk about our higher terrain areas. Of course, when we talk about precipitation this time of year, we also worry about mountain snow. Last weekend, travel was very tricky over our mountains, especially over the Cascades. As we go into this weekend, despite that moisture that will be rolling in on Saturday and Sunday, snow levels are going to be very high, up over around 8,000 feet or so. So if you do have travel plans this weekend to areas west of the Cascades, don't worry about those slippery winter driving conditions, again, because the passes will really not be impacted by snow. We'll keep an eye on this storm system that is going to be arriving in the next couple of days, but right now I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. We're talking more about the government shutdown this morning. Food banks across the country are seeing a surge as millions of families gear up for frozen SNAP benefits. The shutdown will see food aid end on November 1st. It's the latest blow for roughly 42 million Americans who are already struggling with rising food prices and shrinking benefits. Food banks say they're unlikely to meet the demands. There's already a shortage on donations, and House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Trump administration has worked to limit the pain, but it's stuck on SNAP benefits. Democrats say that's not the case.
Every day of this shutdown, he has tried to move funds around to find unobligated funds to cover the bases, to get the troops paid in the middle of October, and to make sure that WIC funding is not resolved.
Instead of protecting the 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP for nutritional assistance, they are making these Americans confront hunger.
Meanwhile, Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is joining 22 other states in a lawsuit against the Trump administration for suspending SNAP benefits. The suit claims the USDA has access to billions of dollars in SNAP-specific funds appropriated by Congress, despite the agency's claims. Now, the lawsuit says about 900,000 people, including 300,000 children in our state, will lose SNAP benefits if funding isn't restarted. In a memo sent out over the weekend, the USDA claims they cannot use contingency funds for regular monthly benefits during the government shutdown because those funds are not legally available. Governor Bob Ferguson says he will move about $2.2 million a week to support food banks ahead of November 1st. The Department of Agriculture said food assistance for 40 million Americans will cease on Saturday if the government does not reopen. Democrat lawmakers say the federal government has the money to continue providing food assistance, but is opting not to. As for air traffic controllers and TSA workers over at the Tri-Cities Airport, they have now missed their second paycheck, their first full paycheck. Despite the financial strain, airport officials say operations remain normal with no flight delays or security disruptions reported. Workers are continuing to show up, keeping safety and travel running smoothly. Passengers are being urged to pack their patience, though, especially as we near the holiday season. Switching gears this morning, yesterday, the Salvation Army hosted a trunk or treat at the Champion Center in Yakima. To find out more about the event, KIMA's Ty Therian spoke with Lisa Sargent, the envoy of the Salvation Army in Yakima, and picks up the story from here.
The Salvation Army's Trunk or Treat event is focused on bringing the community together.
You know, it's not about trunk or treat. Certainly candy's fun, right? And different events are fun. But really it's just coming together, supporting each other, getting to know each other, and how we can support each other.
The Salvation Army holds many events, but this will be the first event at their brand new location.
The Salvation Army has bought this property at 509 North 4th Street, and we are so excited to get into this place, this property in January. Cross our fingers. And we are just so excited to be here amongst the community.
Lisa wants to use tonight as an opportunity to tell the community what the Salvation does and who they are.
We do a lot in this community, and so I would invite people that maybe you're curious about what we really do. Yes, we have a food pantry, that's most known, but we do so much more. And I would love to talk to you more. I'd love to give you a tour of our new facility, and just reach out to me and give me a call.
It's important to remember that Halloween is more than just candy and costumes. It's also about bringing the community together to celebrate one magical night.
KIMA's Ty Therian, thank you. And new numbers at Central Washington University show that their challenges with declining student enrollment continue, but they are slowly but surely fixing the issue. KIMA's John Franklin spoke with the Vice President of Enrollment and Admissions, and here's what he had to say.
5 years ago, we were at over 9% in decline. So this year we're down to 2.6%. So that's quite a big improvement for us. Even though we're down, we see some improvement there.
While the CWU enrollment numbers are still in decline, the rate is much lower than the past, partially thanks to who and where their staff are focused.
We added more of our staff out there working with high school student, high school counselor. We have more staff out in the community colleges.
They don't just talk with school administrators and counselors, but they make sure that they are accessible to students as well.
We do a lot more admission-related event directly at the school. For example, at the high schools throughout the state last year, we had over 80 what we call on-the-spot admissions.
Again, the numbers still show a decline in enrollment, but they are in year 3 of a 5-year plan to increase the amount of students at Central. And the data shows that their plan is slowly working.
And I think when we came in at about 2.6% in decline, compared to the prior year, I think it was 3.8%. So we were like, okay, we made some improvement. So that for that reason, I think we didn't really pop the champagne, but we were happy that we continue to make that progress.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. Now, the university confirmed they are looking to have positive enrollment rates soon, aiming to be in the black, so to speak, 2 years from now. But that does it for us. Thank you for watching this episode of KEPR Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. That's KEPR and KIMATV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.